Hi, this is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful little snowflake flowers. Now these were so easy to put together and they're really beautiful. You can use these in craft projects or decorating tiny little jewelry box type of packages, anything that you'd like. And they're nice and stiff. And I really think that you're going to enjoy this project. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to put together these very easy little snowflake flowers. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a snowflake punch. And this snowflake punch I recently purchased at Michael's. It was roughly $12, but I used my 50% off coupon, and then I asked for my senior discount on top of it. I don't know if you know that, but if you walk into Michael's any time of the day or night, any day of the week, and ask for your senior discount, they'll give it to you on top of your coupon. And you have to be 55 years or older. So that's just a little piece of info there. So this one was by Recollections, and it is 1.5 inches. Okay, so you're going to grab a card. Now I'm using this color card because since I'm making snowflakes, I want it to have the appearance of being somewhat cool, and so I'm using the blues and the whites right here in this card. And you can find all kinds of cards this time of the year at the 99-cent store and Dollar Tree, and they're cheap enough to pick up just to use for these types of projects as well. I also found some gorgeous Thomas Kincaid cards at a thrift store. They had tons of Christmas cards set out in packages, and these Thomas Kincaid cards, I ended up getting like 12 of them for 65 cents. I couldn't believe it. So I grabbed those. Alright. So I think I'm going to cut out 2 of them right here in this blue area first. Just like that. And you could use scrapbooking paper, but I really like the fact that this is a little bit thicker, cardstock, and because it'll bend nicely for what we need, and I'll explain more as we go on. Alright, and then I'm going to do a second one. Let's see what I'm doing here. Okay. Now, I have 2 blues, but I want 1 white to go in the middle to kind of break up the blues so it'll look more 3D, and you'll see what I'm talking about as I go along. Okay, that popped right out. Alright. Okay. So we're going to want to take, let me lower this here. So we're going to take one of the blues here for the very bottom base. We're just going to leave that flat. And this white one will be the one that will go on top of this blue, but we're going to kind of bend the little snowflake arms here upwards, like that. And then this blue one will go on top of the white, and we're going to bend these arms up as well, just like this. Don't worry if they look like they're falling downwards, because you can also bend them up a little ways after they dry, and I'll show you what we'll do next. I'll explain more about that. Alright, so you're going to be using either the Deco Art Triple Thick, which is a brush-on gloss glaze, and you can find this on Amazon, and or you can use the Ranger Glossy Accents. So either one, is perfectly fine. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to use the glossy accents on this one. And then you're going to need a mixture of iridescent glitters. This is white iridescent glitters, and I showed you guys how to mix those up when I was adding them to my petals and flowers in other tutorials. And if you don't have a lot of different iridescent glitters to mix, you can use the Marquee Love. That's an iridescent glitter, and it's got some silver in it. You could use the pastel blues with iridescent in there. That's fine. You know, just don't put anything that's too bright, okay? I mean, I shouldn't say bright. I should say don't put anything that's too dark. That makes more sense. Alright, so I'm going to take the cap off this. Have to get my brain in gear this morning. Alright, and I'm just going to be putting a little bit of this on the snowflake. And I'm going to try to be fairly quick about this. Alrighty. Okay, so now we're going to take our iridescent glitter and just kind of shake it over there. Make sure you get the little stems of the snowflake. That's what's the most important, because the middle, you're really not going to see the middle too much. It's mainly the stems you want to focus on. Okay. See how pretty? Okay. So now we're just going to lay this down. Okay. Let it dry. And we're going to do the same thing on here. Just going to take some of this and just put it here and there on the stems of the snowflake, just like this. And I'm going to shake a little more. This, I'm not worried about it getting glitter getting on the paper towel, because we can just clean that right up by shaking it back into the jar when we're finished. Okay, so we have this, and don't worry if the arms look like they're bending downwards a little bit, because as it dries you can always, you know, kind of push it upwards like that. And then the last one right here, we're going to do the same thing. I really like the glossy accents because it has this little nozzle, and you can direct it exactly where you want to place the gloss, which is nice. Okay, and then I do put it in the middle, but I don't make that my main focus because, like I said, it'll be covered anyway. And then we're going to add some more glitter. Love the iridescence. I love to mix the iridescent glitters together. I just think they're so pretty. Okay, there we have that. Alright, so now we're going to allow this to dry, and honestly, you should allow it to dry overnight, I think. Okay, now you see how this is kind of lying flat? Don't worry about it. Just kind of push them upwards. And, you know, even after this dries, you can push them upwards too. But, you know, don't let that worry you too much. Okay? It'll be really pretty by the time we are finished with this. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my excess glitter, and I'm going to allow these to dry at least overnight. And then we'll be back. Okay, so I let this dry overnight, so it's been 12 hours, and my hands are completely frozen right now, but that's okay, I'm still going to do this. Okay, so as these were drying, I just coaxed the arms of the snowflake upwards by just, bending it, and the more it dried, the more it just dried upwards like that. Okay, and they are nice and stiff, all of them. Now I will tell you that I did use both the triple thick and the glossy accents. It worked the same. It gave the same results. However, I think for this project I really do prefer the glossy accents simply because it has a nozzle, and it's just so much easier to get the gloss on there than the triple thick, where you have to take a small brush. That's just a personal choice, though. You may think differently. Okay, so with that said, I take my glue gun, put some glue right here in the middle of the flat snowflake, and then I'm going to place the white one on, and I'm going to make sure that the little arms of the snowflake, of the white snowflake, is between the two blue arms all the way around this snowflake right here, the flat one. Okay, and I put the white on because it kind of gives it a break, and it gives it more of a 3D look when you can break up the colors, because we're using two blues. Okay, I'm going to place this right here. Once again, the top one, I want the arms to be in between the two white arms all the way around. Okay? Alright. And then I'm going to put a little flat back rhinestone button. You can put anything you want in the middle here. You can put a pearl or anything. But I just thought it would be pretty like this. Okay. There we go. Okay, so just going to bend the arms upwards just a little bit right here with the last snowflake that we put on the top, just like that. Alright, there we go. And you have your little snowflake flower, and they're nice and stiff, and these would make beautiful little embellishments for any craft project. They're sweet and sparkly, and I think you'll really enjoy this craft. And it just goes to show too that you don't need to buy 3 different types of punches in order to make a tiny little embellishment. We used just simple leftover cards that weren't really all that pretty. I mean, they were okay, but they weren't anything extra fancy. And we used 1 snowflake punch. Doesn't have to be the 1.5-inch punch. It can be any size you'd like. That's just the punch that I bought. And a little bit of gloss and glitter. And there you have it. So I'm going to be making these up, and going to be using them in a variety of different projects for Christmas. And I think these would look absolutely lovely on top of a package too. Just put a little sticky back foam piece, or craft foam type of piece. I forgot what you call them. They're the little sponge pieces with adhesive on them that gives this more of a 3D type look. So anyway, I'm going to place one on the back and stick it on the package. I don't know why it slipped my mind and I can't remember what it's called. Foam mounts, that's what they're called, foam mounts. Ah, I have to get my brain in gear this morning. Okay, so with that said, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and I hope you have a lot of fun making your own little snowflake flowers. And so you take care, and God bless each and every one of you, and have a very Merry Christmas. And I am going to warm up because I am so cold. So you take care. God bless. Bye-bye.